You sit across from her at dinner. Same restaurant, same table, same two people. But something feels different tonight. Not dramatic, not explosive, just distant. She laughs at her phone more than she laughs with you. Her eyes light up somewhere else. And when you talk about your day, you can feel it. She's listening just enough to respond, not enough to connect. You drive home together in silence. Not angry silence, the kind that feels heavier because neither of you even tries to fill it anymore. And the whole way back, one thought keeps circling in your head. Am I losing her? Is there someone else? Or am I just imagining this because I'm scared? Why does it feel like she left emotionally before she ever left physically? Here's the truth most people miss. A woman usually doesn't choose another man the moment she meets him. She chooses him emotionally long before anything becomes obvious. Not because she's evil, not because you were never enough, but because emotional drift creates openings where connection used to live. And man, you're not weak for noticing it. You're not crazy. You're not overthinking love. Every person who has deeply loved someone has felt the terror of sensing them slowly slip away while still standing right beside them. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand the subtle emotional signs that she may already be emotionally investing somewhere else, why those signs happen beneath the surface, and what separates relationships that quietly collapse from the ones that find their way back before it's too late. Let's get into it. Most couples believe relationships end when someone cheats physically. But the real truth is, relationships usually end emotionally first. That's the part nobody explains. Your partner's nervous system is always tracking one question beneath the surface. Do I still feel emotionally safe, emotionally chosen, emotionally alive here? And when the answer slowly becomes, I don't know, people begin drifting long before they begin leaving. Because emotional disconnection rarely looks dramatic at first. It looks ordinary. Less eye contact, less curiosity, less warmth in small moments, more energy directed outward instead of inward. Most people think another person steals their partner, but honestly, that's usually not how it happens. What often happens is this. One relationship slowly becomes emotionally dehydrated, while another interaction starts making someone feel seen again. And here's what makes this so painful. The partner losing connection often keeps trying harder in practical ways, working more, providing more, fixing more, while completely missing the emotional tone underneath the relationship changing in real time. Because when safety leaves a relationship, love doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it just goes underground. And this is deeply tied to attachment patterns. When someone feels emotionally neglected, unseen, criticized, or chronically lonely inside a relationship, their nervous system naturally starts orienting toward places where they feel alive, appreciated, or emotionally understood again. Not because they plan to, because humans bond where they feel emotionally received. That's why the signs we're about to talk about matter so much. They're not just behaviors, they're emotional shifts beneath the surface. 1. Her emotional energy suddenly lives somewhere else. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples focus on time, but emotional investment matters far more than physical presence. A woman quietly choosing another man often starts redirecting her emotional energy before anything obvious happens externally. And you can feel it, bro. She becomes mentally elsewhere, even while sitting next to you. The warmth that used to naturally flow toward you now feels delayed, distracted, or absent. Because emotionally, attention is attachment. Your nervous system feels where her presence is going before your mind fully understands it. Most people in relationships ignore this stage because technically nothing bad has happened yet. No confession, no proof, no confrontation. But beneath the surface, something important has shifted. Another interaction has started activating curiosity, excitement, anticipation, or emotional validation she no longer feels consistently at home. And here's what changes everything. This usually isn't about the other man being better. It's about what she feels when she's around him. Maybe he actually sees me. Maybe I still matter. Maybe I'm more alive than I thought. That inner experience is powerful. The disconnecting version sounds like this. You say, "You've been distant lately." And she responds, "I'm just tired." The connecting version sounds different. You say, "I miss feeling close to you lately. I don't want to fight. I just want to understand what's been happening inside you." Because one response pressures her defenses, the other invites emotional honesty. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to force it. 2. She stops bringing you into her inner world. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Emotional intimacy is not built through logistics. It's built through access. Most couples think they're connected because they still talk every day, but talking is not the same thing as emotional sharing. When a woman begins emotionally attaching somewhere else, one of the first things that changes is who she emotionally processes life with. You stop hearing the small stories, the random thoughts, the vulnerable details. You become informed about her life instead of included in it. And man, that shift matters more than people realize, because emotional closeness is built in tiny moments of turning toward each other, not grand romantic gestures, not anniversary dinners, not Instagram posts. It's built when someone instinctively thinks, "I want to tell you this first." But when emotional drift begins, another person slowly becomes the emotional first choice. Her brain quietly starts registering. "He understands me easier. I feel lighter talking to him. I don't have to work so hard to feel heard." That doesn't always mean she's physically cheating, but emotionally, attachment is already moving. The disconnecting version sounds like this. "How come you never talk to me anymore?" The connecting version sounds like this. "I feel like there's a part of you I haven't been able to reach lately, and I miss it." Do you hear the difference? One creates pressure. The other creates safety. And that's the shift that turns a relationship from emotional survival mode back into emotional connection. 3. Your presence starts feeling like obligation instead of relief. This is where it gets really interesting. Most people assume relationships fail because of conflict, but many relationships actually die from emotional numbness. Not louder arguments, not dramatic betrayals, not constant chaos, but two people slowly becoming emotionally unavailable to each other over hundreds of tiny moments that never got repaired. Like scar tissue forming slowly beneath the surface. When she's quietly choosing another man emotionally, your presence often starts feeling heavy to her nervous system instead of regulating. She seems irritated faster, withdrawn faster, restless around you. Not because you're automatically toxic, but because emotionally disconnected relationships create chronic tension beneath the surface neither partner fully understands anymore. And here's what nobody explains. A healthy relationship eventually becomes a nervous system refuge, a place where someone exhales emotionally. But when emotional safety erodes, even neutral interactions begin feeling draining. So instead of moving toward you after stressful days, she instinctively moves away. Her internal monologue becomes, "I don't want another difficult conversation. I don't have energy for this. I feel guilty for feeling disconnected." The disconnecting version sounds like this. "Why are you always in a bad mood around me lately?" The connecting version sounds like this. "I know things have felt heavy between us lately. I don't want us to keep becoming strangers while pretending we're okay." That sentence changes everything because it removes blame and names reality honestly. And when you do that, your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person you genuinely want to understand again. 4. She protects her phone more than she protects the relationship. Now listen carefully. Privacy is healthy. Secrecy is different. Most couples confuse boundaries with emotional hiding. When someone becomes emotionally invested elsewhere, their devices often become emotional vaults because another connection is now living there psychologically. And no, this is not about becoming paranoid or controlling. That destroys relationships even faster. But your nervous system notices behavioral shifts for a reason. Suddenly, the phone angles away from you. Messages get deleted. Attention becomes hyper-protective. Not because technology itself matters, but because emotionally, another world is being protected. And here's the painful part. Most people respond to this with surveillance, checking phones, accusing, interrogating. But here's what changes everything. Not spying harder, not becoming possessive, not trying to control her choices, but becoming emotionally honest enough to confront the distance directly. This doesn't feel like us anymore. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for honesty. I'd rather face something painful together than keep pretending nothing's changed. That is emotional maturity. Because this isn't a manipulation tactic. This is what emotionally grounded people do when something real feels broken beneath the surface. And when honesty finally enters the room, the relationship can stop bleeding silently in the dark. 5. She stops fighting for the relationship altogether. And this one hurts the most. Because indifference is usually more dangerous than conflict. Most couples think arguments are the sign a relationship is dying. But emotionally, complete disengagement is often the real warning sign. When a woman still argues, complains, pushes, or expresses frustration, there's usually still emotional investment underneath it. She still wants repair. She still wants connection. She still wants to matter. But when she becomes emotionally done, something shifts. She stops trying, stops bringing things up, stops reaching. The relationship starts feeling eerily calm, but not peaceful, empty, like someone emotionally moved out before physically leaving. And man, this is where a lot of people lie to themselves, because conflict disappearing feels temporarily easier. But emotionally, silence can become a graveyard for unresolved longing. Her nervous system quietly says, "What's the point anymore? He doesn't really see me. I've already started letting go." And here's what nobody explains. Sometimes the most important moment in a relationship is the moment one person finally stops pretending things are fine. Not aggressively, not cruelly, not dramatically, but honestly. The disconnecting version sounds like this. If you're unhappy, then just leave. The connecting version sounds like this. I know we've both been drifting, but I don't want pride to stop us from telling the truth about where we really are. Because emotional repair begins the moment two people stop performing and start becoming real with each other again. And that's when connection finally has room to breathe again. This isn't a checklist designed to make you paranoid. It's an invitation to become more emotionally aware of what relationships actually need beneath the surface. Because the truth is, relationships rarely collapse from one catastrophic moment. They collapse from unspoken loneliness, unresolved disconnection, and two people silently hoping the other notices their pain first. And when you internalize this, you stop obsessing over competition and start paying attention to connection. You stop trying to win your partner back and start becoming emotionally available enough to truly see them again. That changes everything. Because these aren't tricks to stop someone from leaving. This is what it looks like when someone learns how to love with presence, honesty, emotional courage, and real self-awareness. And whether this relationship survives or not, that growth will change every relationship you ever touch moving forward. Because real intimacy doesn't disappear in one moment. It fades in silence and rebuilds in truth.